About your ears, trust me, you don't. But if you had a choice, would they grow or would they shrink? Staying the same is not an option.
Let's go with shrink.
Right, smart man. There's no profit in having your ears grow. Headphones become a vice. When you get your mid-age crisis convertible, they won't help you get airborne. Even though mine are approaching the size of Dumbo. Now you would think that maybe they, because your hearing's going, maybe they would help, you know, with doesn't work. Just absolutely doesn't work. As a matter of fact, I think it was a year ago, I asked my wife what she wanted for, I forget which present day it was, but, you know, what do you want? And she said, why don't you go get hearing aids? So you don't want your ears to grow, but they do. And then let's take an obvious one, hair. You don't want the hair on your head to get thinner and shrink, right? Of course not. It's actually a trick question because you don't lose hair. It migrates. It falls through your skull, natural gravity, and just shows up in other places. Right now, the lady who cuts my hair, notice the hair could be singular or plural. The lady who cuts my hair spends more time on my ears and my eyebrows than she does on my head. And late at night, there's this thing, back to the ears with the tinnitus, you hear a ring. I'm pretty sure it's not just, I think they're talking to each other. Now, I don't know if they get a choice about where they go, or it just happens, but just as I'm falling asleep, I hear, hey, Marty, getting kind of thin up here. You don't want to be the last one to turn off the lights. Which way are you going to go? Manny, giving some thought. I think I'm going to the nose. Still outside. No sun. Oh, Marty, you don't want to go to the nose. He yanks him. He yanks him out of it. Well, what about the back? Well, yeah, back's good. You're out of sun, and you know, I hear some of those guys turn really gnarly, kind of like barbed wire. But he might start waxing, and you don't want that. All right, so then you go to sleep, and then all of a sudden you wake up the next morning, guy shot, "Yo, Carl, where'd you go?" And he's, you know, down to your feet somewhere. So that's the hair, and then of course you get to the nose. Look, I started out as a toucan. Currently an anteater, and I figure I'm about, I don't know, a year, 2 years, 5 years max away from elephant. And there is no reason for it. Well, okay, a little bit. I can now smell things I can't see and I can't hear. That is not that big of a deal. Now, that's all the outside stuff, and you know, face it, at my best I was middle ugly, so it's not that, it's a nuisance. It's the stuff that happens inside that's just diabolical. I can't tell if you, do you know, A, that you have a prostate, and B, what it does? I didn't when I was your age, but I found out. Now, the prostate's about the size of a walnut in its healthy state, and what it does in the normal course of events is it makes the fluid that protects the swimmers. Okay? As it gets older, it gets bigger. Roughly the size of a goat's head in my case. And it turns to dust. Now that by itself is no big deal. But then what it does do is it presses on this thing called the urethra. The urethra is the portal to porcelain. And when your prostate grows, it turns what at 13 years old was a fire hose into a drip irrigation system. Now, this is a problem kind of all the time. It's now 9 o'clock at night. Can't see. And if I want to go to a movie tomorrow night, a 2-hour movie, and make sure I can sit through the end, I got to start drinking like last summer. But there is some offsetting shrinkage, and that, of course, is your junk. Remember the guy in San Diego going through TSA says, "Don't you dare touch my junk." I have a different approach. Sir, madam, you find it, you can play with it.